Shabbat Shalom. We can do better. We can do better. Shabbat Shalom. Amazing. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Dana Benson. I'm joined by the amazing, incomparable Rabbi Ruth Zlotnick and Alex Chadsey.
The check's in the mail, Rabbi Dana.
And we have Jamie, who's going to be able to be helping us be seen and heard back there. And before we begin, I want to just take a moment for y'all to turn around. And Jamie, you'll tell me if I'm having us look at the wrong camera, but it's that camera. Great. So this camera, we're going to say Shabbat Shalom to everyone at home. Hi, everyone. We're glad you're here. Shabbat Shalom.
And if I may just say that part of creating the space together is creating a space that's unlike any other that we inhabit. And so we'll ask you to bring the fullness of yourselves. You'll see in our books that there's transliteration if your Hebrew is unfamiliar. There's lots of ways you can read, but we will ask you to please no photography or videography during the service. And you might as well, as long as we're talking about it, check and see if your cell phones are turned off or whatever other devices. I will tell you, my brother called me while I was on the bima, the pulpit, and I had not turned my phone off. And so it happens, but we create a space that way.
Well, that's the exact thing, is we're here for Shabbat. It's not about creating a perfect moment in time, but rather about being here and being present together in this experience. As a young person is called to Torah, Nina Thaler, and as we experience the rest of Shabbat as one community. And so we do that by starting on page 70, page 70, with words of Hine Matov Umanayim, how good and pleasant it is to be together. You may notice that in the Hebrew it says the word achim. We're going to be using the word anu. Since achim tends to be a masculine plural, we're going to be using anu since it's more inclusive of all gender identities. Join with us. Hine Matov. Hine Matov umanayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet anu gam yachad. Let's write that all again. Hine matov umanayim shevet anu gam yachad. Feel free to try that with me. Hine matov umanayim shevet anu gam yachad. This is call and repeat. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Bethany, Hine Matov umanayim shevet anu gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet anu gam yachad. And so we bring ourselves with warmth and energy to this space. It's okay to clap. It's okay to sing. Heck, it's even okay to dance in this space. Even if it seems a little bit uncomfortable, I actually want to challenge you to try something that might be a little uncomfortable, to experience something that might be a little different. Maybe this is your first time in a Jewish worship space. Maybe this is your 900th time in a Jewish worship space. Whatever it is, bring that inquisitive nature and just that sense of being here in this moment. We begin our service officially now on page 76. Actually, I'll invite you to go to 77 as we offer an English version of our prayer, Asher Yatzar. Join with me on the top of page 77. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. wondrous maker and sustainer of life. Were one of them to fail, how well we are aware we would lack the strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar, umafli la'asot. As we turn to page 78, we're going to focus on just the first two lines in the Hebrew. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Divine One, the soul that you have returned to me and given to me to be able to be present in this day is beautiful and pure. And so I'm going to teach you a chant, and as you get comfortable with it, I want you to sing along with me if you can. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. That's the whole thing. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Stick with that. We'll keep going. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehor. You feel like you got it? Rahi. You keep going on that part. Elohai, Elohai neshama shenatata bi. That's awesome. Yes. Elohai tehora, tehorahi. Beautiful. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. With our spirits full, we continue with words of song. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat. You can find those beautiful words to join with us on page 96. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי אסור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון וחינוך Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai. So we would dance. Ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Ki simachtani Adonai b'foalecha v'ma'aseh yadecha araneh. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer leshimcha elyon ulezamer leshimcha elyon ulezamer leshimcha elyon feel warmed up yet? Good, because that's what those songs and psalms are meant to do. They're here to literally help us get warmed up, because prayer is not something that is easy or that we all know necessarily how to do, but it helps a lot if we all get breathing together and being in space together and building energy together to feel like we can create something unique here in this moment. We turn to the Baruch Hu on page 108, our prayer of being together in community. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our call to worship. You may be seated. It is my honor and pleasure to invite up Nina Thaler, who is going to be called to Torah as a bat mitzvah this morning. She'll be leading us in the words of Yotzer, or our prayer for morning light, on page 110.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvorei choshech, Oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz ve'ladarim alecha barachamim, Uvtuvo mekadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit, Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam bechochma asita, Mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yifa'arucha selah, or chadash al tzion ta'ir, v'nizkei kulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hame'orot.
Yasher koach. We say Yasher koach as a way. You're going to stay up there. I'm not done yet, just because I sat for a second. No. So we are going to continue on the next page, page 112, as Nina continues to lead us in words of love, Ahava Rabbah.
Ahava Rabbah Havtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Emla Gidola Videra, Almota Aleinu, Bavor Avotenu, Ve'imotenu, Shembadu Becha, Shembadu Becha, Avotenu Ve'imotenu, Vatelamdin hu kehaim, Kin tehunenu lamdinu, Amirahem, Tilamdinhu Kehayim, Hudaloninu Lamdinu, Hamerahim, Hamerahim, Rahim Aleinu. Libeinu lehavim, lehavinu haskil, lishmoa lilmodu lilamed, lishmor belasot, ulekayem et kul divrei, Talmud Torah teham biahava. V'ha'erinenu b'torateha, v'dabek lebeinu b'mitzvoteha, v'heyahed levavenu li'ahava u'yira et shemecha. V'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalim, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki b'shem kodshecha, hagadol v'hanara b'tanu, nagila v'nismeha, nagila v'nismeha b'shuateha. V'havienu l'shalom, meyar bachan fotaretz, v'tolienu komemiut, komemiut le'artzenu. Ki el poel shuodata, uvanu vaharta, v'keraftanu l'shimha hagadol, sela sela be'emet, lehodot lecha. Uyahedha b'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai, haboher be'amo Yisrael b'ahava.
Amen. Now you can take a seat. Okay. And we say Yasher Koach. That's our way of saying good job. We don't applaud necessarily at services here, but we do say the words Yasher Koach with such strength. So Yasher Koach, you know. And with that sense of joy and love amidst us, we turn to the words of the Shema spread across pages 114 and 115, our declaration of monotheism, the watchword of our faith. If it is your custom to rise for the Shema, I invite you to do so. If it's your custom to sit for the Shema, I invite you to do so. Whatever is your custom, we join together in these words. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Shem kevod malchuto leolam vaed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. If you chose to stand, you may be seated as I invite Nina back up to lead us in more words of love, the words of the Ve'ahavta on page 116.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Adonai Elohim emet. Yasher koach. We turn to page 122 for words of Micha Mocha, the words our ancestors sang as they crossed through the sea as they left Egypt, our song of freedom, of courage, of connection, and of comfort. Now, our custom at Temple Beth Am is to dance. And so I invite you to do so. Rabbi Ruthin, no. Oh, we're not doing it this morning? Why not? We're here. You're going to stay there. Okay. So what I'm getting the hint of is that they're going to stay there, but if one of you wants to help lead some dancing, it would be wonderful and highly encouraged. And so we dance together as we sing this song of freedom, Micha Mocha, page 122. On high, who is like you? Adonai, yada-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna help. Yada-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. If I could sing it. Micha mocha va'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar kodesh, nora tehilot oseh fele, nora tehilot. There we go. Oseh fele. Shira chadash hashipchu geulim leshimchat hayam. יחד כולם הודו והמליכו והודו והמליכו ואמרו. Yes, there we go. Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed. Ya la la, everyone. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. One more time as we find our seats. We're going to find our seats. Michamocha ba'ilim Adonai. Michamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osei fele. Nora tehilot osei fele. Well, I have to say Yasher Koach to all of you. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Beautiful. We turn to the Amidah, our prayer of vulnerability and intimacy. We have moments of praying together and then moments of praying silently. You've already come together as one community this morning. And so we take that energy, we build upon it, so we create space that each of us may feel comfortable amidst each other in this moment of prayer. My honor to invite up Nina once again to lead us in the Amidah, which begins on page 124. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sefaitai tiftach ufi agite hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekonei ha'achkol ve'zoher ha'stei, Avodim mahot, Umevi gula livnei v'neihem, Leman shemo b'yahava. Melech ozer u'moshiach u'magim, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham v'Ezrat Tzadka. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehaye Yaakov atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mehakel hayim behesed, Mehaye hakol berachamim ramim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayeh emunatu, Lishenei afar, Mihamo haba'al givurim, Umidol melach, Melech meimit umehayeh, Umatzmiah Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechadot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mehayeh hakol.
Continue on the next page. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Nina continues to lead us on page 134.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu v'Hinu Retzevimnu Hatenu Kachenu b'mitzvotecha v'teim helkenu b'toratecha Sabhenu mituvecha v'samhenu b'misuatecha Nitaher libenu le'ovdeha be'emet v'hanhilenu Adonai Eloheinu B'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuva Yisrael mekadshe shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Yasher koach. We continue to pray quietly on the following pages, all the way through page 142. I invite you, when you are completed with your prayers, to take a seat. You can either use the words on the page or the meditations of your own heart. We'll join back together in music in a few moments. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim. Kedushatcha nagdish. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim. Kedushatcha, kedushatcha nagdish. Mipinu lo yamush, mipinu lo yamush, leolam, leolam va'ed. Let's do it. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim. Kedushatcha, kedushatcha nagdish. Mipinu lo yamush, mipinu lo yamush, leolam, leolam va'ed. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid god lecha. Kamlach.
Ledor vador. Does anyone know what these words mean? Ledor vador? Yeah, nice and loud. Beautifully done. It's almost like you're going to be called to Torah or something. Or already have. Just was. I knew it was right now. Ledor vador, from generation to generation. Every Shabbat we come together as a community. Every Shabbat we take this moment to thank God for the blessings in our lives. And every Shabbat we move Torah ledor vador, from generation to generation. And so certainly this means that, Nina, this is a moment when we will be handing Torah to you. And it will be coming from the hands of Nina's family. But truly part of what makes, I believe, Judaism so beautiful is that this handing down from generation to generation is not just an individual family's obligation, but the obligation of the entire community. And so you were greeted by Diana Bremens, a wonderful lay leader in our community, who would like to offer a few words of blessing to Nina on behalf of Temple Beth Am.
Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov to the whole family. We thank God for the gift of Torah and for the wondrous opportunity to share it with a new generation. Today, you ensure the continuation of the legacy of Moses and Miriam, who first taught Torah to our people. As we prepare to hand the Torah to you now, it is our hope that just as you will carry it in your hands today, you will carry it within your heart always as a perpetual expression of faith in God and commitment to your people.
Thank you so much, Diana. So I'll invite you to go stand by Rabbi Dana's water bottle. Yeah, if that's a sacred water bottle.
It's
yeah.
a very sacred water.
Yeah. And then in this moment of the Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for reading Torah, when door ledor, from generation to generation, we will pass Torah on to Nina. It is an honor to invite folks in your parental and grandparental lines. So we are excited to welcome two people I think you know fairly well, Carly and Josh, your mom and dad, as well as Andrew Anderson, Bonnie Hendricks, Michael Thaler, and Libby Thaler. The blessings for the service for reading Torah begin on page 244. And so please rise in body or spirit.
מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
Nina, do you hear that? Listen closer. That's what some people say it sounded like at Mount Sinai. But in that moment, this Torah was given to the people who assembled themselves there. And the words within it, we're told, were paths of peace. So dor, lador, from generation to generation, this Torah has been passed down during times of challenge and times of celebration, and our people have always found within it paths to peace. And so it is from the hands of our community into the arms of your grandparents, into the arms of your parents, we pass this Torah on to you, Nina, knowing that even as that moment had some awe in it, so does this moment, because we're giving this Torah to you, and know you'll pass it on to the next generation with love.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai b'Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael b'Kedushato. And we say the words of Shema once more. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. And we bring the Torah out into the community as we sing Al Shlosha Devarim. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed. Al HaTorah ve'al HaAvodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim, Al HaTorah ve'al HaAvodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai la la lai, yai lai lai la la lai, yai la la lai, yai lai la la lai, yai la lai, yai la lai lai lai. la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam obed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha.
Just take the water bottle off.
devarim, ha'olam obed.
There.
Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
I'll take that. And you
Ya
can give me
la
a
la,
hug
ya
if you
la
want.
la, ya la la, ya la la,
Yes.
ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la, la la.
I want to say that great Aunt Norma was the best Torah undresser I've seen in a long time. So thank you to Norma Fuss.
Yasher Koach.
And so this week's Torah portion, every week we read a little bit of the Torah. And I remember when we first started talking about this Torah portion, Nina just zeroed right in to one of the most challenging concepts in this week's Torah portion, and indeed in all of Torah. Our Torah portion is called Amor, and it has, it's a little bit of a mishmash of lots of different things, but it has the rules for the priests, it has the festival calendar, and it has some very challenging judicial teachings as well. And so I'm going to invite Nina to come forward and be our teacher for this morning on this Torah portion.
Do you fight for the things you care about? I sure don't. Just kidding. I ask this question because in this week's Torah portion, Amor, there was a man whose mother was Israelite and father Egyptian. He got into an argument and pronounced God's name, which was blasphemy. Then Moses went to God and asked what they should do with him. God said to Moses, "Take the man and stone him." Then he told Moses to tell the Israelite people this: "Anyone who pronounces God's name shall be put to death. Also, anyone who murders someone else shall be put to death in return. As the Torah says, eye for eye, tooth for tooth." Pretty gruesome if you ask me. At first, I did not know what to talk about in my davar. All I wanted to do was take a nap. But once I thought about it more, the Israelites should have said something about killing the man, because if it's eye for an eye, saying God's name should not result in that sort of punishment, because that does not seem very equal. I also find it kind of extreme that just saying God's name means you will die. Why should death be the result? I don't think speech should be punishable by death, because eventually we would all be dead. Free speech is an important part of the world and essential for making big decisions. Just as Hamilton said, "If you stand for nothing, Burr, what do you fall for?" Often people will disagree with one another, but I think it's important to listen to everyone's opinions instead of slaughtering them, and to compromise. The Jewish man in Amor may have said some wrong things, but I think he should have been given the chance to justify his actions. Unlike the Israelites who did not speak up, someone who speaks out about problems in our world is Greta Thunberg. She is a great example of a modern role model helping to make the world a better place through speech. Greta is a well-known climate change activist known for challenging world leaders to take action on climate problems. When she first spoke out about climate change, Greta was only 15. Being a kid, it might seem like your ideas and voice matter less than older people, but Greta challenged adults even if it was scary, and I find that very inspiring. She was born in Sweden in 2003. Greta learned about climate change in school when she was 8. After that, climate change became a big part of her life. In 2018, Greta went on her first school strike. That's when Greta started rising in popularity, and she was invited to talk at different big events. Now, she's looked up to all over the world as a girl who saw something in the world she didn't like and stood up to it. What makes her activism even more remarkable is that Greta Thunberg was born with selective mutism, which can make it hard to communicate in different social situations. But despite all that, she persevered by using her voice to make a difference. I hope that what we can all take away from this is, if you think something is wrong or unfair, you should stand up for yourself and others. Trust me, I know it can be scary, but the world will never change if no one says anything about bad systems, especially if no one stands up to that one kid hacking in Roblox. No one should be silent if unjust things are happening in the world around us, especially today. So to the question, do you fight for the things you care about? I would answer, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you.
Amen. Amen. And when I first heard that final quotation, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I think I showed you my bobblehead of Ruth Bader Ginsburg in my office. That was such a wonderful way of helping us understand this really complex idea. So thank you so much. And we're just going to make sure that the Torah is exactly where you need it to be. And while Rabbi Dana's doing that, I'm going to just let you all know there are Plout. Plout was the editor of commentary. Some are, and so if you'd like to read along as Nina chants, Nina's going to be chanting from the book of Leviticus, chapter 24, verses 15 through 23. And if you're watching online, we want you to know that you can go to safaria.org.
Yes.
.org. And it's chapter 24 of the book of Leviticus, starting with verse 15. If you have the old Plout commentary, it goes way across the page. That'll begin on page 938. You may have the new Plout commentary, because what's old is new again. And that'll have different columns in the page, and that's on page 829. Phew. So with all of that said, it is an honor to invite up for our very first Aliyah, someone else I think you know pretty well. So it's an honor to invite your brother Rafi up, as well as your cousins Noah, Hannah, Michelle, Sarusi, for the Aliyah LaTorah. The blessings can be found on page 250.
Ya'amdu Raphael ben Yoshua v'Bina v'Noah v'Chana v'Michal v'Adam Sarah v'Aliyah Rishona. Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Ve'el b'nei Yisrael tidaber le'mor, ish ish ki yekalel Elohav v'nasa cheto. V'nokev shem Adonai mot yumat ragom yirgemuvo kol ha'eda kager ke'ezra v'nokvo shem yumat ve'ish ki yakeh kol nefesh adam mot yumat umake nefesh behema yishal menach nefesh tachat nefesh.
Yasher Koach, beautiful.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher batam lanu Torah emet, v'hainu olam natav b'tocheinu, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
Yasher Koach. So I'm going to invite you to go stand on the other side of Nina. You could give her a hug or a fist pump or whatever works for you as you go to the other side. Because at this moment, it's an honor to invite Nina Thaler up as a bat mitzvah for the very first time. This is when we call you that. And so I think there are two people who might want to join you up here as you're being called to Torah. Josh and Carly, please come forward. As Nina Thaler, we invite you to become a bat mitzvah.
הכל הבו גודל אלוהינו, תנו כבוד לתורה. תעמוד הבת מצווה, פנינה בת יהושע ובינה, לעלייה שנייה.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ve'ish kiten mum ba'adam ba'abito kasher yiten kain yinaten lo shever tahat shever ayin tahat ayin shem tahat shem kasher yiten mum ba'adam kain yinaten bo Umake behema yishal menach, umake adam yumat. Mishpat yifha yihye lahem, kager ke'ezra yihye, ki ani Adonai Elohehem. V'daber Moshe el bnei Yisrael, v'yitzihu ed hamkalel, el mihutz lamahane, v'yirgemu oto adven, uvnei Yisrael asu ka'asher. Tziva Adonai et Moshe.
Awesome. And so we'll do the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'haye olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And I'll invite your brother and cousins to have a seat. Mazel tov to all of you. Oh my goodness, Nina, what a blessing you have been to us this morning in the way that you've taught and chanted Torah. But I know for your folks from the moment you were born, you've been a blessing. So they'd like to share some words of blessing with you in front of our open Torah.
All right, Nina, I promised you that I will not cry today. And I will try my very best to not embarrass you. I hope you won't be embarrassed by me telling everyone how hard you have prepared for this day. Too late. A year ago, you couldn't remember all the Hebrew letters, and you were very nervous about learning your parsha, leading the prayers, and giving a personal devar in front of everyone. If ever we also had some doubts, they were quickly abated by remembering, wait, this is Nina. She's got this. Your dedicated hard work is to be admired by everyone.
So Mom makes you sound like a Girl Scout. Oh wait, you were one. But you're also our ice cream loving, last minute shower taking, funny when she doesn't even know it, artist extraordinaire, with tons of friends and good times in your future. I have it on the best authority from that guy over there that you're a great sister, and we think you're an awesome daughter, except when you compete with me for those last bits of dark chocolate in the house. We named you Penina, the Hebrew word for pearl, after your mom's grandma, but also because somehow we knew even then you would turn out to be as unique and rare as those 1 in a million treasures.
Here you stand in front of your family, friends, and Beth Am community, leading a service and reading Torah to fulfill an age-old tradition of becoming a lifelong Jewish learner. Your journey is just beginning, and we hope your connection to Judaism and the Jewish community grows strong and provides you a meaningful and happy life. And remember that wherever your journey takes you, you are not alone. You do this.
Your mother and I, it actually says your father, your mother and I, and your brother, and the rest of your family and friends, including all of those here today, will always support you and love you.
No family blessing is complete without a group hug, really. That was just beautiful. So you all can have a seat and just take a breather. Because while we think it's a very special moment to be in front of Torah, sharing the blessings of a parent to a child, it's also an opportunity for us to share communal blessings. And we know while this is a joyous simcha that we're witnessing, this moment when a person becomes a giver and a receiver of Torah, it is also a time when some of us may be feeling some pain and may be feeling like we're in need of healing, or perhaps there's someone in our lives in need of healing. So I'm going to invite you to share out loud, if you choose to, the name of anyone that you'd like to include in our prayer for healing. For everyone we've named out loud and anyone we may hold in our hearts, we continue with our Mishaberach L'Cholim, our prayer for healing, page 253.
And let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May each and everyone know of refuah shlema, a full and speedy recovery. And so we're going to lift and dress Torah. It is an honor to invite Nina's aunt and uncle, Hervé Srusi and Eva Thaler Srusi, as I invite you to please rise in body or spirit. These blessings are on page 252. I'm assuming you're lifting.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די 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 יי די
seat. And let's get you comfortable. Please be seated. And great, if that works, that works. Far be it from us to, yeah, wonderful. Everybody said, oh, it's like a baby. And I just want you to know, you may have heard the baby's sounds. I was saying to one of the parents of one of the little ones who are here, like that sound is the most beautiful sound in a prayer service. So, because babies of all sorts are beautiful. And so we don't just read from the Torah, from the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible on Shabbat morning. We also read from the prophetic literature. And this week we're reading from a really funkadelic prophet of the ancient world, Ezekiel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can Google it later. He had these amazing visions. But in this particular passage, it connects to the Torah portion because he talks about the priestly class. And so, Nina, come on over. I'm afraid you're not quite done. And so Nina's going to be chanting from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 44, verses 21 and 22. If you're on Sepharia.org, again, that's Ezekiel 44, verses 21 and 22. If you'd like to read along in your Plout commentary, in the old Plout, it's on page 1001. And in the new Plout, it is on page 847. And Nina will begin and end with the blessings for Haftarah on page 254 of the prayer book, if you can balance them all.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar bin ve'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Haboher Batorah Uf Moshe Avdo Uv Yisrael Amo Uvin V'yeh Ha'emet Vad Tzedek. Ve'yayim lo yishtu kol kohen bevoam el hehatzer hapnimit ve'almana ugerusha lo yiku lahem lenashim ki em betulot mizera beit Yisrael ve'ha'almana asher tihyeh almana mikohen yikahu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik behol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamedaber umekayeh shekol devara emet vad tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limenucha lechavod ultiufaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach uvarhim otach yitbarach shemcha b'fi kulcha tamid leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Yasher Koach. Just such beautiful chanting of both Torah and Haftarah. And so the time has come to return Torah to the Ark. I'm going to invite Mary Anderson and Al Anderson, more great aunts and uncles, to come on up to open the Ark. The blessings begin on page 256. Please rise in body or spirit.
It's
it just comes right, and you can push it all the way, and then wait, and it's right over here. I know it's a sneaking, and it's a trick one.
נתיבותיך שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה קודש קודש ימינו קודש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated. We'll invite all of Nina's loved ones to have a seat. Thank you all. Yasha Koach to one and all.
But Nina, although you're done, we still have a blessing to offer upon you, so don't get too comfy in that seat quite yet. Nina, it's been such a lovely journey. And as your parents remarked upon, when you started this journey, there was a lot of uncertainty within you about whether you were going to be able to learn all this Hebrew and get all of this done in time. And you came to lots of services, and you've been really present, and you worked with your classmates, the Gan, and you worked with your tutor, Danielle, and you worked so hard. And here you are. And you did it swimmingly, as though no one would have even guessed a year ago that you were so concerned. And that's one of the beautiful things about you, Nina. Your drive, your consistency, and also your sense of humor. Rabbi Ruth and I were remarking that while you've been consistent and so just driven in this practice and this process, you haven't taken yourself too seriously. In the words of your Devar Torah, you've brought humor while also showing that glimmer of who you are. And as someone who has a very expressive face, I rarely meet someone who is as expressive, if not more so. And Nina, you are. With a little bit of an eyebrow raise, a little bit of, exactly, you can communicate more than anyone would think. And that's one of the things that makes you so special as well. You share your heart with everyone you meet. You share your wisdom and wit and spirit and humor with everyone you meet. And the Jewish people will forever be changed because of your becoming an adult within it. And I hope that you never stop bringing that sense of drive, that sense of consistency, but also the knowledge that you don't have to take yourself too seriously. And maybe you'll even realize just how funny you actually are. But to be a little bit more serious for a moment, it's our honor, Rabbi Ruth and my honor, to give you this blessing, this priestly benediction that's been handed down for centuries, generation to generation. And we now get to offer it over you now as you are a bat mitzvah in our community.
Nina, may God bless you and keep you always.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
And may the light of the divine that shines through you shine upon you and always be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lach shalom.
And as you go forth on your journey as a bee mitzvah, as someone who represents Jewish values in the world, may you feel that God's presence is with you always, and may God bless you with peace.
Amen ve'amen. And you get a couple of door prizes for completing this process as well. First off, and probably maybe most importantly, especially to your family, a certificate that says you've done this. A certificate that is showing that you are bat mitzvah and you are called to bat mitzvah on this day. A book for your continued reading, My Jewish Year by Abigail Poggerman, as you continue to invest in your Jewish life and identity. And a very special gift we've started giving to our B'nai Mitzvah students.
So perfect with
what you were sharing from your Devar Torah. It's a mezuzah from a community, from an organization called Tikkun Hayam, those who repair the water. And indeed, this mezuzah was 3D printed using plastic that was taken out of the ocean and then reused to create this item that will be sacred in your life. And so it is with such honor and pleasure that we give these to you on this occasion of your bat mitzvah.
And thank you for being our teacher this morning. You can take the gifts over to the chair and have a seat. We have one other little thing for you to do later, but you can take a breather. As I mentioned earlier, what is so important for us as a community is to gather and to take stock of the blessings in our lives, the blessing of being in community, the recognition that this is such a sweet day for Nina's family, and that there are some members of the family whose presence we feel here today, particularly Greg Anderson, your uncle Nina, and Betty Anderson, your grandma. And really, memory in the Jewish faith, memory is an act that we do together. And so we always make sure to have a moment of memory. And so in addition to Nina's loved ones, I'd like to name these members of our community who we are remembering on this Shabbat morning. We're remembering Jonathan Sugarman, husband of Therese, father of Maya, brother of Erwin, Alan, and Stanley, and brothers-in-law and uncle to many. He will be laid to rest in the days ahead. And we are also remembering these loved ones who have died in the last month. Andres Hanak, brother of Gabriela, father of Elena. Roseanne Hirakawa, a 58-year member of Temple Beth Am, mother of Lance and Dawn, mother-in-law of Lorraine and John, grandmother of Darren, Jessica, and John, and wife of Victor of blessed memory. Stuart Engel, brother-in-law of Ronnie Schur and Toby Harris. Walt Halperin, father of Mike, father-in-law of Jody Green, grandfather of Taylor and Lucy, grandfather-in-law of Serena, and great-grandfather to Lily, who was born 2 days before Walt died. Dolores Porter, mother of Denise Wexler, mother-in-law of Larry, and grandmother to Hannah, Sarah, and Rachel. Jerry Bacharach, spouse of Barbara Fudge, father of Deborah Bacharach and Julia Bacharach, father-in-law of John Palmieri and Daniel Corey, and grandfather to Miriam Rose, Ariana, and David. Alan Puckett, husband of Laura, father of Glenn and Todd, father-in-law of Tamar and Sarah, and grandfather of Zachary, Talia, Ella, Macy, and Sophia. We also take note in this community. We wish that there was 1 week in which we did not share these memories, but we also remember victims of mass gun violence. And so we remember the 5 victims killed in Henrietta, Oklahoma this week: Holly Guest, 35, Riley Allen, 17, Michael Mayo, 15, Tiffany Guest, 13, Ivy Webster, 14, and Brittany Brewer, 16. And we also remember Marlene Pizarro and her 3 children who were shot this week in Lake Wales, Florida. We also remember the anniversary of the deaths of our loved ones. The Talmud teaches us that we don't celebrate the birthday of a deceased one, but the yard site, the anniversary of death, because that is where you can know all that they taught in the world during their lives. And so we are remembering Mark Aronson, Ann Berkowitz, Max Braidman, Pauline Chillingworth, Miriam Feinberg, Walter Ginsler, Tricia Gutchin, Lillian Kaplan, Mary Kirk, Regina Korbchen, Rosemary Lippincott, Adele Markfield, Stephen Madelon, Eileen Maurer, Irving Ostro, Jean Picker, Mattie Pollan, Gina Roberts, Harriet Siegel, Stanley Siegel, Sydney Silverman, Shirley Simon, Bernard Stoller, Sheila Stotland, Morris Udell, and Nicholas Wolf. I invite you also, if you're at home, to share it out loud, or if you would like to share out loud the name of anyone else who you'd like to remember at this time. If you've lost a loved one in the last week, please rise, or the last month, or the last year. And if you are remembering the yard site of a loved one, please rise and stay aloft. And if you're here for a yard site, please rise. And then as one community, let's rise with the mourners among us. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. It is actually not in Hebrew. It's in a language called Aramaic. But I always like to say that it speaks not of death and loss, but of life and praise. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirute v'amlik malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael, Bagala uvizman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevarak le'olam almei almaya, Yip barak v'yish tabak v'yip pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar v'yit haleh v'yit halal shemei dekudashab v'gru le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Amen. Zikronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Amen. So please feel free to be seated. Once again, thank you to Alex and to Jamie and to Rabbi Dana and of course to Nina. We also thank Diana Brement, who participated in the handing down and has been our Shamash Gadol. And the way we can show her gratitude for welcoming us so warmly is by bringing our, I just wanted to make sure you're awake. You're awake. It's by bringing our prayer books outside. That would be so awesome. We also invite you to please join us in our Kiddush lunch afterwards. And in case you're interested, we're in the middle of our Scholar in Residence weekend. It's been just wonderful. And we'll have another program again this afternoon with Cantor Rosalie Will, who's been a phenomenal teacher. At 4 p.m. And we'll conclude that with Havdalah somewhere around 5:45 or 6. So with that said, I think it's time to make this day sacred. And so the Kiddush is on page 301.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. And we also, of course, sanctify through having some challah, through breaking bread together as a community. And so our custom here at Temple Beth Am is to either try to put your arms around each other if you're comfortable, or elbows to each other if you're comfortable, whatever's comfortable for you. And we say this prayer together as we all connect in this moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Our closing song today was chosen by Nina as we have our students choose the music, and it's perfect considering her Devar Torah about changing the world. The words, for the most part, are na na na, na na na, na 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 na. Yes? Yes. And then we also have Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, the beginning of most of our prayers. Shenatan lanu hizdamnut l'taken et ha'olam, who's given us the understanding, the wisdom, the drive to repair and make better the world. Sing with us, even if it's just the na-na-nas. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Try that out. I think you can handle it. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Na 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 na. Let's do the na na na's one more time. More na na na's. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shenatan lanu hizamnut letaken et haolam na 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 Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shenatan lanu hizdamnu Shenatan lanu hizdamnu Letaken et haolam Na 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 na
Shabbat shalom, one and all. Shabbat shalom and mazel tov.
Ta-da.